What's up, Spurs Nation? It's your boy Clan, the Spurs fan. Today we're looking at draft prospects. Now this is going to be a pretty long video, so bear with me. But I have about 12 or 13 guys that the Spurs have been looking at, and these are guys that the Spurs have already worked out. So we can kind of come to the conclusion that the Spurs are definitely going to draft 2 of these 13, 12 guys. So we're going to look at that. We're going to have some fun, and I'm going to give my thoughts on them. I'm going to look at the stats, and then we're going to look at what the professionals say, because I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't watch a lot of college or overseas basketball, so I'm a newbie to it, but I did do a little bit of research on them just so we can look at that. Now, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to the patrons. That will be Eric Raven, John, Rick, Impeccable, Corrupt, and also the YouTube member, my boy, Juan. Now, if you want to become a patron and support the channel, all you have to do, head on over, bang, bang, to patreon.com/clan_the_Spurs-fan. I have the link below. Like I said, if you want to become a patron, it's only $2 a month. It will mean the world to me. It shows support, and honestly, with how much BS YouTube is, it definitely helps. So, but yeah, just wanted to let you guys know about that. Now, let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, okay, we're gonna get the easy people out of the way right off the bat. This is gonna be a guy that we all have on our mind, that we all know about, that the Spurs have already worked him out. They went out to dinner with him. They've already talked to him. They like him a lot. From Texas, obviously, Kai Jones. So, what are my thoughts about Kai Jones before we get into the stats and pros and cons of Kai Jones? Personally, I think Kai Jones is a phenomenal talent. I think he's athletic. I think that he has a decent shot. He has a high motor. He plays good defense. And as far as I'm concerned, he has a really good personality that fits in with the Spurs pretty well. Now, the only issue with Kai Jones, I would say, is that he's very raw. And that's not necessarily a bad thing when you talking about the Spurs necessarily, you know. The Spurs are really good at developing talent and making you better. He has a lot, and I mean a lot of potential. Okay, this guy is a phenomenal ball player, and he's only going to get better. As far as his footwork on defense, I think sometimes he's a little waddly. He's definitely dependent on his athleticism, and sometimes he kind of loses his footing when he's playing defense, but for the most part, he's a pretty good player. High motor, plays defense, does his thing. Now, let's look at his stats. Now, stats can always be a little misleading, so we're not going to just harp on stats or anything like that, but I did want to at least just share it with you guys. So his first season, he got about 17 minutes, 50% from the field. That's phenomenal, in my opinion. 29, that's terrible. But overall, throughout the year, you know, a block a game, that's really good. And then he averaged about 4 points, right? 3.6, about 4 points. You average that up. And then the next season, you can see a huge improvement. So this is where I say that he has a lot of potential. The minutes only went up. I mean, that's a good chunk, but that's not crazy amount. But the minutes went up about 6 minutes. And you can see the results from that. That's about 9 points, a steal, still a block. Free throw percentage went up, 3-point percentage went up, field goal percentage went up. Like I said, he's a very good talent. Now let's go ahead and look into the pros and cons. We got a lot of people to go through, right? We already know about this man right here. So let's go ahead and look at it. It says pros: solid shooter. We said that. Decent low post scorer. He's okay. Scoring on off ball motion plays, that would definitely help. Decent defender, decent shot blocker, good athlete, solid motor. I'm not gonna harp on him too much because, like I said, you guys already know about him, but struggles to consistently create his own shot, can be careless on offense, leads to turnovers, can be too passive on offense, not an elite rebounder, not an elite shot blocker. Now, as far as not being an elite rebounder, I wouldn't really harp on that too much, only because we got a lot of good defenders right now. Like, if the team is still how it is right now, I mean, we literally have Keldon DeJounte that does a big heap of the work. Not to mention Jakob Poeltl's a very good, very good rebounder. So Hold on, let me stop this. Every time I get on ESPN, this is what happens. All right, so number 2. Now this is also a guy that's very obvious. You know who I'm going to with this one. It's gonna be Usman Garuba. Okay, this dude is, in my opinion, a phenomenal defender. Okay, phenomenal defender. I would argue that he's possibly the best defender that we could get at our spot. Okay, if they grabbed him, I wouldn't be angry whatsoever. When we're done with all these, I'll tell you who I want definitively. But I love me some Usman Garuba. I like Kai. I love me some Usman Garuba. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and look at his stats. Now, straight out of Spain, his stats are phenomenal, guys. I mean, sure, professional. Okay, these are really good stats. So as you can see here, 19, 10, 13, 11, 9. That's just what it looks like for him. Excuse me. And as you can see here, blocks 6.4 blocks in 2018, 2019. Honestly, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not 100% sure what happened here. It looks like his minutes played went down tremendously and his games, but his stats improved. It's very weird what happened with him. I'll just be completely honest with you. I'm not completely sure. If you know, let me know in the comments. But you can see his stats here. Like I said, let's not harp on it too much. But this right here is 2.6 and then 1.4, 1.3. Very efficient defender, okay? Very efficient defender. And those are steals. And that's pretty significant coming from a big man. Now, let's go ahead and look at the pros and cons for this man right here. So, we got decent low post score, excels at scoring off ball motion, adequate playmaking for his size. I think it's a decent playmaking. It's not amazing. Very good rebounder, solid defender, decent shot blocker, good athlete, very good motor. And yeah, and then played in toughest professional leagues. Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's NBA ready. That's what I would say. He's definitely NBA ready. Now, can be reluctant to take jumpers. Okay, he's not really a jump shooter. Needs to improve his free throw shooting, needs to improve his face-up game, can struggle to score in traffic, can be too passive on offense. But we know what we're getting out of these two guys. Okay, Usman Garuba and Kai. That's why I wanted to do them first, because they're kind of the most obvious guys thus far, and these are just guys that we know that the Spurs are going to keep their eye on. Okay, now we're about to have a little bit of fun. Now we're about to look at some different players. So let's look at Ziaire Williamson. Now, I've been seeing a lot, and I mean a lot of Spurs fans talk about him and say that he's underrated. People aren't talking about the Spurs grabbing him. People aren't talking about how he could fit with the Spurs. Me personally, I think he's a very fun player to watch, and I can see why a lot of Spurs fans want him. In my opinion, I think that he has a pretty high motor, decent shooter, highly athletic, great dunker. And that's one thing now I'm starting to see, or that I started to see more I looked into the draft, is that there's a lot of pure athletes out there. So let's go ahead and look at his stats. Once again, let's not harp on this too much. Stats are kind of iffy when you're talking about college, right? Let's see here. All right, so 2021, he averaged nearly 7 points, 3 turnovers, almost a steal, 0.6 blocks, about 2 assists. 3-point percentage was not very good at 29. Field goal percentage 37 is pretty decent, and he had 28 minutes, so he played a lot. Okay, he played quite a bit. Now let's look at his pros and cons. So he's 6'9", 188, and he's an adequate scorer off the dribble. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. That's another thing that I'm starting to see. He's a decent playmaker, solid rebounder, solid defender that can get steals and blocks. He is a good defender, very good athlete. That's what I was saying. He is a really good athlete, like really good. Cons: needs to improve his shooting, tends to shy away from contact, does not draw enough free throws, prone to hoisting up questionable shots, can play too wildly on offense, gambles too much defensively, needs to add strength. His cons are stuff that's just like, man, it's a lot of mental and physical, and that's something that you can kind of struggle with. Now we're getting into somebody that I'm like hype about. Okay, let's get into somebody that I'm like hype about. Actually, we're not gonna get there yet. I'm gonna save him. I'm gonna have fun and save him. All right. So let's talk about, this will be a controversial one. Okay, and this is somebody that the Spurs have worked out, that they're looking at, and that man is James Bouknight. I guess that's how you say his name. Right off the bat, just to give you my thoughts on him, I think he's like a Mike Conley. Okay, I think just the more I watch him, he has the fundamentals down. Okay, he's a solid scorer, solid passer, solid driver to the basket. Now a lot of people will say, well, we already have point guards. I'm pretty sure the Spurs might be looking at him in the case that we do get rid of DJ, or we get rid of Derek White or something like that. But man, we got so many guards right now. You have Trey Jones, you have DeJounte Murray, you have Derek White. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. But the more I watch him, I see a Mike Conley. That's just what I see. And not future, like what we see of Mike Conley now, where Mike Conley became like super elite. I see early Grizzlies Mike Conley, just a solid, good player that could be, maybe the third, fourth good player on the team. I don't know. But let's go ahead and look at the stats. So looking at his stats, very, 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 very impressive stats. Okay. If we're looking at 2019-20, he got about 26 minutes a game and he had 13 points. About a steal, 1 assist, typical stuff. Really good free throw percentage, good 3-point percentage. Good. It's just efficiency, man. That's the word that comes to my mind when I see this guy. Straight up efficiency. So points went up to 18.7. So he started balling, and that's only with 6 more minutes added to him, to his game. Field goal percentage went down a little bit. 3-point percentage went down quite a bit. Free throw percentage came down quite a bit, but I think that's just the usage of them. I'm sure that's all that is. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now let's go ahead and look into the pros and cons. Now, once again, I said he's a guard. I don't agree with us going after a guard, but he is a very solid guard. Okay, if you wanted to grab him. So 6'5", 190, fairly good shooter from all over the court. I agree with that. Crafty scorer. Yeah, that's the word. Crafty, bro. Crafty's the word. I don't know why I didn't come up with that word. But yeah, he's just so solid. Excels at scoring on off ball motion plays. Once again, handles the ball well, moves fairly well off the ball on offense. I'll say one thing, because I don't know if it's going to be on here. You see streaky shooter, can be reluctant to take threes, prone to hoisting up. Okay. One con that I would like to add is I think that his release is kind of slow. Okay. And I'm not saying Kyle Anderson's slow, but it's definitely kind of slow, just for my liking for a guard that's as efficient as he is. I just wish that his shot was just a little bit faster. And that might be partially to this, reluctant to take threes. It might be due to the speed of his release. I don't know. But take a look for him for yourself. Don't let me be the the dictator on whether or not we should grab this guard. All right. So let's get into the next guy. And next one's a fun one. He's actually really fun. Franz Wagner. Now, this is a power forward, I believe. I looked up quite a bit on him. Honestly, I really like, well, let me get my thoughts on him first. I really like his energy. And I think that that's like the most impactful thing he can bring to your team is his energy. I really do mean that. I know that that's like kind of a weak thing. It's like, oh, you don't get him for energy, but his energy, he just brings so much excitement, dude. Like, he loves the game of basketball. You can just tell every single time. It'll be like a floater that he makes and he gets hype over it. He would fit right in with like a Keldon Johnson, dude. Like I love his demeanor. I love the way he approaches the game. Things that I feel like he does well. I feel like he's a good scorer. Good around the rim. I think that he's overall, I think he's just kind of solid offensively. The only issue that I have with him is that he seems a little slow. He's a good playmaker, and he comes across as a really like old school type player. You know what I mean? Like really old school. He's kind of slow, but he's patient. But yeah, just overall, maybe that speed, that footwork, he would have to work on that a little bit. But let's go ahead and look at his stats. So looking at his stats, you can see that it's really solid, really solid. We can just look at 2021. You can see 1920 right here. I'll just look at 2021 because his minutes about stayed the same. So 12.5 points, 1.3 steals, the exact same he was again. Added up to his blocks at 1, added assists, 2 assists, pretty good rebounds, 6.5. Free throw percentage is high, so he's a hard worker. Three-point percentage is pretty good, especially for a man of his size, and then field goal percentage 47. So yeah, I'm not complaining, dude. That's really solid. So if we look at him, 6'9", 220. He's a big boy, okay? He got a lot of size to him, but let's see what they have to say about him. These are the professionals, not me. I'm stupid. So solid scorer off the dribble, adequate shooter, solid playmaker, solid rebounder, decent defender, solid athlete, good motor. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. The good motor thing I definitely mentioned. He is a solid athlete. I saw quite a few alley-oops from him. You can set him up pretty nice. But you see, cons, streaky shooter, can be reluctant to take outside shots, does not draw enough free throws, can struggle to guard quicker players. Yeah, that's where I was saying on defense, he's kind of slow. Can be foul prone and can be too inconsistent in games. I think all Spurs fans would agree that we don't need anybody inconsistent. Okay, but overall, I think that he's a solid pick. Especially if your other guys are gone, it's likely that he's going to go in the top 15. So if your other guys are gone prior to our pick, then I mean, it is what it is. You just have to swallow that bullet. But he's a good player. He is a very good player. Now, okay, finally, we're getting to the guy that I'm excited about. Okay, all right. I looked into this guy after people in the Discord. By the way, you want to join the Discord, links below in the description. People in the Discord were sending me messages about this guy and putting it in the chat. And I was like, all right, okay, fine. I'll look him up. Dude, I cannot pronounce his name. But when I say that he is cold-blooded, he is cold-blooded, guys. So, you see, Alperen Sengun? I don't know. You guys know more about him than I do. I know you do. But after looking at his game, just to give you my thoughts, my initial thoughts just watching him, he is straight up like a mixture of Boris Diaw and Jokic. At least around the rim, okay? He is so smooth. The fact that he's so patient, he's his playmaking is incredible. He has eyes at the back of his head. He's just so smooth around the rim, and he has some sneaky athleticism, which fit in with Derek White, who also is very sneaky athletically. But that's basically his game, man. He's just amazing around the rim, and he's amazing at getting his teammates involved. So let's just go ahead. By the way, I'll try to find some stats. Maybe you guys can find it. But overall, I couldn't really find stats. But I did find this article on him, and it was a quote that I wanted to quote here. This is him speaking right here. I have always played with and against older players, so adjusting to playing in a league where professionals was not unfamiliar. I am aware of the things I have done well, but I also recognize aspects of my game I want to strengthen. I enjoy focusing on those aspects and become a better basketball player every time I step on the court. This guy is special. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. I think that this guy is genuinely special. Now, whether or not he'll be available is unknown, but I will say that the way that he approached the game, just go look at stats from him, please go look at stats. You're going to be pretty amazed. It's just silky smooth. You remember when we used to like look at old highlights of Manu Ginobili? We probably still do this, but like old highlights of Manu Ginobili from prior to the NBA, and he always just had that smooth factor to him. That's how this guy is. He is so smooth. All right, now let's look at the pros and cons of this guy. So 6'9", 240. He's a big boy. All right, he's a big boy. He is big. Yes, see, strong finisher around the basket, and boy is he. A good low post scorer. I would scratch this out and say great. Okay, he's a great low post scorer. Adequate scorer off the dribble. He is. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. Does everyone just excel at off-ball motion plays? Decent playmaker for his size. He is. Very good rebounder. Adequate defender. Oh, I didn't even mention that. His defense is very good as well. Above average athlete and rock solid motor. Yeah, that's that sneaky athleticism I was talking about. Needs to improve his face-up game. He has really good handles, by the way. Must extend his shooting range. I agree. Struggles to defend quicker players. Yeah, sometimes he's late, and his length is what kind of gets him there. Can be a bit foul prone, a bit undersized to play inside, not an elite athlete. But yeah, so that's basically him. I really like him. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really like this guy. All right, so let's go into the next one. Let's see here. Let me bring it up. Where we at? Here we are. There we go. All right. So we're looking at Isaiah Jackson. I've been seeing quite a few people talk about him, and I'll just get my thoughts on him. I think that he is a very good defender, or yeah, decent defender, really good rebounder. I think the biggest issue with him, just in my opinion, before we look at the pros and cons and everything, in my opinion, I think the biggest issue with this guy is that you really have to set him up. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not 100% confident that we have the guys right now to just have a kind of DeAndre Jordan type player where you just set up all the time. I just don't think that we're kind of ready for that. We kind of need somebody who can make a little bit better. But overall, he's a very good talent, lengthy, strong, good rebounder, and all that good jazz. Okay, he's decent. He's pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and look at him. So his stats, just really quick: 8.4 points, steals 0.8, so about a steal. Like I say, he's a good defender, so he got about 2.6 blocks. Assists, he doesn't really assist. He's definitely a guy you have to set up. I'm very intrigued to see what the pros and cons says about him. But field goal percentage 54%. Okay, but yeah, let's see what the pros and cons says. All right, 6'10", 205. Yes, see, excels at scoring on off ball, motion plays, very good rebounder. I said that. Solid defender. Said that. Gifted shot blocker. Said that. Very good athlete. Yep, solid motor. All right, now here we go. Struggles to score in traffic, needs to improve his shooting, needs to improve his free throw shooting, needs to improve his playmaking skills, can be too passive on offense, may be fairly raw offensively, can be undisciplined defensively, needs to add strength. And I think that's just due to him being so young. And maybe if we had a later, like, first round pick, I think that he would be ideal. But this is a guy that the Spurs are looking at. But for me personally, I just don't think that we have the team to really use him or utilize a player like this right now. He will be the perfect type of player if we already had an established team. Right now, we don't really know where we're at, but a player like this would have been perfect for a team that's already established and you just want to add a little bit of athleticism, or a guy to shock your team when you have so many good three-point shooters right now. But I don't really think that I don't think the Spurs will get this guy, but he's definitely on the board for them. And he's a guy that they're looking at nonetheless. All right. Now, let's get into another guy that some of us Spurs fans have been looking at. Let's see. Okay. Where is he? There he is. Okay. All right. I got it up. Something was acting weird. All right. We got our boy Moses Moody. Okay. My thoughts on him just really quick. I think that he's a good athlete. I think he's a good scorer. I think he has a pretty high motor, just in my opinion. Good rebounder. Just overall solid player. I know that I seem like I'm kind of repeating myself with some of these guys, but a few of them just kind of like I watched quite a bit of them and whatnot, and it just comes across to me as I wouldn't be mad with that pick. You know what I mean? Like, you know how some people are like, oh my, like you get certain people in the draft, you're like, oh my God, we just got, and then there's some guys where it's like, oh, I'm not mad at that. I trust the Spurs regardless of what they do, honestly, because we're so good in the draft. But, I look at this guy. I know a lot of people are high on him. For me, it's just like, I'll be okay with that. So let's look at his stats. 17 points, 34 minutes right out the gate. Okay, that's how much time they gave him. Let's see, a steal, almost a block a game, 1.6 assists. Free throw percentage is really good. 3-point percentage is really good. Field goal percentage is pretty good. Okay, so he's a very solid scorer. Now here we go. Pros: solid shooter. Okay, I said that. Adequate scorer off the dribble. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. Adequate playmaker. Solid rebounder for his size. Above average athlete. And that's another thing too. All right, he's 6'6". I just don't. I don't see the Spurs getting him. I said that about the other guard as well. I just don't see the Spurs going after a guard right now. But we'll see. We'll see. It just depends on if they did go for a guard, then we definitely know. Bye, DJ. Then it wouldn't make a lot of sense unless we're getting somebody really good for DJ. But yeah, let's go into the cons. Lacks an elite first step off the dribble. Can be prone to hoisting up questionable shots. Not an elite ball handler. Can be too passive on offense. His efforts on the defensive end can lag at times. Can be too inconsistent in games. And I did notice this as well. The first step is really slow. And I believe there's another player as well that has a really slow first step that I wanted to talk about that we were going to get to. All right. Now we are looking at Alan Griffin. I think this guy is really recent that they just worked out, right? But yeah, Alan Griffin. So let's go ahead. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on him. Honestly, I think that actually this is the guy that I said that has a really slow first step that I was just talking about. I'm not crazy. If they pick this guy, I wouldn't be. I personally would not be crazy about it. He looks like a really good talent. Okay, good scorer or whatnot. It's just I don't know. It's something about it. It's like he's just too slow for some reason. He has a good pace to him, but with the direction that the Spurs are going in with our high motor players, I just don't think that this would be a phenomenal pickup. But let's just look at him. Okay, I won't harp on it too much. Straight out of Syracuse, you see. All right, so his stats have improved tremendously. You can see why he's entering the NBA. But he started off at 2.8 points, went up to 8.9, now he's at 13.3, and his minutes just went higher and higher. So coaches definitely had more faith in him as the years goes on. And, obviously you have like seniors graduating and all that good stuff. But field goal percentage, we'll just look at the most recent. This is when he got a significant amount of his minutes. So 43, 36, 3-point percentage, 89, about 90. That's basically 90% free throw percentage. That's really good. That means you work hard. 5.8. I like to look at the free throw percentage, man. To me, it always means that you're really like working on your game when you have high free throw percentage, But yeah, assists 1.8. Blocks 1.6, steals 1.2. So he's a good defender. Turnovers about 2. And Yeah, that's not that bad. All right, so let's go to pros and cons. So pros and cons for Allen Griffin. 6'5", 185. Here's the pro. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this. Did I mention this? Okay. Yeah, this is the first guy where we're looking at, and we're going into the second round. Okay, so he's second round to be undrafted. So this would be a guy that the Spurs will pick up in the second round if they, have that prerogative. It's their prerogative. All right. So yeah, decent shooter, terrific free throw shooter, good rebounder for his size, adequate defender, good shot blocker, above average athlete. All right, now you'll see what they say about his cons. May struggle to consistently create his own shot. See, that was another thing too. Some of his shots that he created, they look good. His release and everything looked good, but I just feel like some of those shots, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about when I say this, but some of his shots, if you tried that in the NBA, you ain't making it. It was some of his fadeaways where in college, you can just kind of shoot right over the guy. And in NBA, I mean, that's like an easy block or easy contest. And I saw a lot of that. So can struggle to score in traffic, can be careless on offense, which can lead to turnovers. Plays in zone heavy defensive scheme and may need to add strength. And I wouldn't harp too much on the add strength when you're like 6'5" guard, basically. All right. So who do we have next? Who we going through next? Yes. This man right here. Huff. Okay, so this is another recent guy that the Spurs are looking at. My thoughts on him initially, just to be honest, the only word that came to mind for me was just solid. Once again, one of those guys where I'm just not super excited about it, but if they grabbed him in the second round or even possibly undrafted, I don't think he'll go undrafted, but I will be like, oh, that's pretty good. Just solid, bro. Once again, he kind of needs someone, at least from what I've seen, someone to kind of set him up. From what I remember, he's a good scorer, good with alley-oops, good, pretty decent around the rim, pretty slow, but he's really big. So he's going to be slow. Just kind of comes with territory, All right. Let's look at his stats. Yep, 7-1. All right. So let's look at him. So is improved throughout his career. Freshman year, 3.4 points, 4.4. Let's just jump all the way to when he's getting that 25, 27. Okay. All right. So 27, you can see he just only gotten better. Now, the thing that really stood out to me the most, and it probably stands out to you too, is look at this. This is a hard worker, guys. Look at this. He from a season to the next, he improved his free throw percentage from 54 to 84. That's like unheard of, especially from a big man, to improve it that much. Hold on. Another important. Shut up. To improve it that much, that is pretty doggone impressive. And that's not something to really ignore. Okay, he needs credit for that. All right, so let's look at the pros and cons for Huff. So 7'2", 234. Well, we just saw 240. I don't know who's telling the truth. Everyone's lying. Okay, so he's second round to undrafted. I think we mentioned that. Solid finisher at the basket. He got some pretty cool alley-oops, by the way, if you look him up. He had one like behind the back alley-oop that was so sexy. Scoring off-ball motion play. All right, let's just say everyone excels at off-ball motion plays. Okay, decent shooter. Has stretch big potential, definitely. Like I said, he needs someone to set him up, but he's a good shooter. Adequate playmaker for his size, solid rebounder, decent defender, good shot blocker. I feel like he's a little slow, but we'll see what they say. Above average athlete. Can be too passive on offense, can be careless on offense, which can lead to turnovers. Not an elite rebounder, can be undisciplined defensively, not an elite athlete, relative late bloomer. That's a weak con. That's okay. Played on very slow-paced team, may struggle to adjust to NBA tempo. Yeah, that's what I stated. He's really slow. Goes at his own pace, but he's athletic. I mean, he's pretty athletic. So I don't know. Not a guy that I'm just like, Oh my God, I'm so excited about. Actually, I'm gonna save. Yeah, I'm gonna save somebody. Okay, I'm gonna save somebody. We're gonna jump a little bit. So let's look at. Wait, is this the guy? Okay, yeah, this is the guy. All right, let's look at EJ Onu. Okay, this is another player where I saw quite a few highlights of him, and one thing that comes to mind right when I'm watching him is strength. Okay, this guy has strength. I'm not saying like, you know, Shaq or Giannis right now type of strength. Maybe not yet, but dude, he has strength. Like, he just bullies it. If you look at his highlights, he just bullies everybody. He's so big, and not only that, he has a shooter touch to him too. He can shoot threes. So not only is he good around the rim, and he's a tough big dude, he has touch. He also has touch. It's not one of those situations that we were talking about when we were looking at the guy from Kentucky. Hold on, let me say his name. I'm sorry, I'm blanking for a minute. There's so many people I'm looking at. From Kentucky. I'm wasting your time right now. Don't click off the video. Just give me a minute. Here we go. There we go. Isaiah Jackson, right? Isaiah Jackson, he needs a lot of setup. He needs a lot of pass it to him in the in the post to get my alley-oop or whatnot. But that's not really the case with EJ. EJ he's just a monster. And I could very well see, the weird thing is, I could very well see him being kind of a steal in the draft and people not really thinking about him. But let's go ahead and look at his stats here. So looking at EJ's stats, let's see here. So he went from 9.4 to 12 to 11 and skyrocketed to 17. But as you can see here, which is, I guess they just didn't like record his minutes. I don't know what happened here, but yeah, when he got about 30 minutes per game, he improved his game from 19 to 20. So that's very impressive. But you see blocks, that's ridiculous, dude. He went from 5.7 and he's 4. That's a ridiculous amount of blocks. But excuse me. Like I said, he's a phenomenal defender, phenomenal bully. He's just a big bully, and he's super strong. And they better say that in the pros and cons. Just take a look. All right, so top prospect rank 88. It's very likely he can go undrafted. If we can grab him when he's undrafted, oh my goodness, dude, guys, it will be so nasty. All right, but decent low post scorer, excels at scoring on off ball. Most everyone does. Adequate shooter from a big man, stretch big potential, definitely. Good rebounder, decent defender. I would say really good defender. Terrific shot block. Oh, well, okay. Well, that's fine. It has a very long wingspan. I'm surprised they didn't mention his strength. I mean, he has a lot of strength. All right. Can be streaky with his jump shot. Needs to improve his playmaking skills. Can be too passive on the offense. Can struggle guard more athletic players. Yeah, see, can struggle to guard more athletic players. I think the reason why they say that is even if you look at a lot of his games, everyone's just so much smaller. He definitely looked as if he didn't really have that comp, you know? Like, he was just OP, right? I mean, he really needed to be nerfed, okay? He's like an Overwatch character, and you need to nerf him. Limited experience against top competition, only an average athlete. I would disagree. I would say that he's a very good athlete and above average, but you know, that's their prerogative to say that. All right, now we're getting into somebody that I'm really excited about, and this is actually the last guy that we're looking at, and this is another guy that the Spurs are interested in. Now, I cannot say his name, okay? I cannot say his name, but I will call him Steph Curry, okay? I know that's crazy. I know that's hyperbolic, but I'm gonna try Franz Bleijenbergh. Bleijenbergh. Hold on, we're gonna do this a little unconventional first. He's He's from Belgium. Okay. Bleijenbergh? Okay. But anyway, talking about this guy, he is super nice. Okay. Super nice. Like, I really believe that this guy could be a steal. Anyone that gets this guy will be a steal. He is so smooth. And the one thing about him that impressed me the most, I said Steph Curry. I know. I think a lot of people are going to think Davis Bertans when they see him. But I will add that one thing that impressed me the most about this guy, just the stats that are the highlights that I've seen, is that he's really good with the ball. Like, he's really good handling the ball. He's good off ball. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's just good overall on the offensive end. And I can only, just thinking about the Spurs, if we were to get a guy like this, I could really see him and Jakob having a really good time together because he loves to run around screens and get that little bit of space, and his release is super fast. It is super fast. Similar to what I was complaining about when I was talking about where is he? I'm sorry, man. I keep doing this. Where is he? This man right here. Similar to what I was saying with James Bouknight is, you know, I didn't like the fact that he has a kind of a slow release, but looking at how do you say Bleijenbergh? I don't know, guys. His release is super fast, guys, like super fast, and his length, there's no blocking him. It's super quick, and he fits right in to the modern NBA, like easy right into the modern NBA. Now, let's go ahead and look at his stats. Once again, you know, stats don't look that impressive, but just trust me, okay? 9.4 points, 0.6 blocks, 0.7 steals, 2.4 assists. Free throw percentage is terrible. Okay, it's terrible, but he can improve that. 3-point percentage is 38, which is really good, and then 43 field goal percentage. Okay, all right. So just look at what they say about pros and cons. Better be nothing but great admiration. All right, prospect 46. He'll be available for us, hopefully. Okay. But you see, solid shooter, especially from deep, adequate scorer off the dribble, fairly good playmaker, decent defender, solid athlete, versatile player that can play multiple positions. And one thing about him is that's what I said, adequate scorer off the dribble. And that's what I like about him the most, is that he is scary. Okay, he is a scary good player. That's, if the Spurs can grab him, we're looking really good, okay? Because when I said Steph Curry, I know that that's pretty hyperbolic to call him Steph Curry, but he has a lot of things to his game. Like, the first thing that came to my mind was Steph Curry watching him play. Just his quick release, his confidence in the release. I mean, one highlight I even see him shoot and kind of turn to the side like he knew it was going in. He didn't go the full-on Steph Curry, you know, turn my back, but he might as well have. And off the dribble, he has really good handles. Now, here comes the cons. You see. And decent defender, I actually didn't see a lot of his defense, but that's a plus, man. I wouldn't even care if he was a good defender or not, the way he plays in offense. All right, cons: needs to improve his free throw shooting, does not draw enough free throws. If he's in the NBA, if he's with the Spurs, more than likely that wouldn't, you know, he really wouldn't have to draw free throws. Can play too wildly on offense. Steph Curry needs to improve his rebounding, can tend to be unfocused defensively, needs to add strength. But overall, he's not the type of player. I disagree with that. He's not the type of player that he's going to have to add a lot of strength. He's just not that type of guy. Honestly, though, I can see him having a really good time, like us having a really good time as Spurs fans watching this guy play, like our own Belgium Steph Curry. I don't know. Now, let me go ahead and get my thoughts on the two guys that I want, okay? The more I looked into it, the more I just thought about it. I'm just going to give the two guys, and I think it's pretty obvious because it was the two guys I was most excited about. And I just have to be honest. The more I looked into each player that will be available, the more I looked into, you know, everybody that's that the Spurs are looking at, I have to come to the conclusion that I kind of want Alperen. And it's one of those things where he's not necessarily the most athletic, but he can get posters on you. And I personally think he probably need to lose a little weight. But when I watch him play, man, he is just so smooth. Like, he brings something to the game that Popovich loves, that we love as Spurs fans. And I think that he has a little dose of special in him. And it's just something about him. Like, when I look at Kai Jones, don't get me wrong, I love Kai Jones, okay? And if we got him, I'll be happy, and I'm gonna lose my mind when we have the watch party. Please join the draft watch party, by the way. I'll be streaming during the draft. But when we have that, I'm gonna be excited. You know, I'll be excited if we get him. I'll be excited if we get Usman. Okay, Usman Garuba. Like, this is one guy that I was harping on for the longest. But honestly, the more I look at his game, he's special, dude. He has crazy amount of playmaking skill that's just not, it's not normal. It's just not normal. So that's a guy that I'm kind of leaning on for us to get. I would lose my mind if we got him. And as far as will he be available, is super iffy. Super iffy. As of right now, he will be a steal for us, guys. I'll just be honest with you. But projected draft range is mid first round. So, oof, like, we in there, you know, maybe we could, but it'll be a little iffy. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, second guy I think is pretty obvious. I just came off of him. Vrenz, Bleijenbergh. I don't know. This guy, special, bro. Special. If he's available in the second round, get him. There's another guy named Greg Brown that I really would like for us to get if we were to get Kai Jones, but I don't know if he'll be available. If this guy is available, get him. The Spurs would be crazy not to get this guy. He is so good at shooting, so good at scoring, so good off the ball, so good at dribbling. And I didn't even know about his defense, but apparently he's a good defender as well. He is so just nasty, bro. So in my opinion, if you mix that up and you have this man right here along with this man right here, oh my goodness, you got two super solid players. Now I know I make fun of my Spurs for getting foreigners all the time. I'm always like, Spurs, why y'all getting foreigners? We always getting foreigners. But looking at these two guys, you can't be angry. Okay, and I have a feeling if they draft this guy, a lot of Spurs fans won't be thinking about it and say, you know, whatever, and just blow him off. Or even this guy, they would blow him off. But honestly, guys, these two are special. Kai Jones, that's fine too. Like, I'm totally for it, bro. I'm totally for any player. But honestly, I think I'm most excited about this prospect right here. If they could grab him in the second round, this is a steal. This is an easy steal in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts on it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like I told you, this was going to be a long video. I mean, we're nearly an hour, bro. But yeah, I just wanted to go through every single player and just talk to you guys about it and tell you my thoughts on it. Just what I see thus far. Once again, if you made it this far in the video, if you want to become a patron, support the channel, please just head on over to the link in the description. Like I said, $2 per month. That's all it is. Not trying to break the bank. That's 4 cents a day. So yeah, so if you want to pledge, just head on over here and help your boy out. And also in the link below, I have a Discord. I believe I said this earlier, but if you want to join in on the watch party, all you have to do is just join the Discord, join it. There's a voice channel. Send me a message in Discord, okay, that you want to join the voice channel, because I have to make you a member. I have to give you the permission to do it, because right now the people that's most active are the people that are allowed to do it. But yeah, join that, and when I go live during the draft, I'm gonna come in and out of the voice channel just to talk to people on live and, you know, see what their thoughts are about the people we just chose. So just letting you know about that. If you want to join the party, that's all good. But once again, Patreon, help a brother out. I mean, I even became a patron to help myself out, so I'm just kidding. All right, I'll get with you guys later. Thanks for the love. If you made it this far, till next time, deuces.